That night, Uncle Ba tossed and turned, unable to sleep. His mind wandered back to the early days when his hamlet first came here to reclaim the wild land. From just one or two scattered houses, it had now grown into a bustling village. Back then, although the area was wild and treacherous, filled with sacred forests and dangerous waters, it compensated with fertile soil and an abundance of fish, shrimp, and wildlife. Among the first settlers was Mr. Truong Thuan, a man of wandering background, a member of the Heaven and Earth Society, who fled persecution by the Qing dynasty officials and ended up here to reclaim the land with the others. He possessed many rare talents: feng shui, fortune-telling, martial arts, and traditional medicine. Because of these skills, he was deeply respected and loved by the villagers. When he arrived, he brought some wealth, and given the abundance of natural resources, his family soon became the most prosperous in the village. He started hiring people to expand the farmland and to collect local goods for trading back in China. At first, he treated everyone kindly, helping them choose land for their houses, gathering herbs to cure illnesses. But little did anyone know that it was just a facade to cover up his sinister plans. Once he had firmly established himself, he returned to China to bring back his parents' remains, supposedly for the convenience of worship. He hired people to build a massive grave complex covering nearly 10 acres of land, surrounded by thorny plants like bamboo, wild pineapples, water willows, acacias, and cacti as fencing. Inside, he constructed many tombs and guardhouses. It took nearly 3 years to complete, and from there, nightmares began to haunt the village. One rainy night at the end of June, Den, the son of Mrs. Hai Dan, and his younger brother went out with torches to catch frogs to cook for their parents' field meals the next day. Around midnight, after catching a good number, little Choot said to his brother, "This should be enough, big brother. Let's go home. I'm sleepy and cold." Feeling sorry for his brother, Den replied, "All right, let's head back slowly and maybe catch a few more on the way. That way, Dad will have some snacks when he comes home tomorrow." Such a filial child, yet fate was cruel. A short life, the old sending off the young. In the desolate, rainy night, the child left forever, never to return. At a crossroads, only the head was found. But where, oh where, was the body? As they turned back toward the village, Den heard frogs croaking loudly from an abandoned garden nearby. He handed the frog strings to Choot and told him to go home first while he ventured into the garden alone. Initially, he caught quite a few frogs and thought to himself that this must be an untouched spot. But after a while, he realized something odd. Frogs usually don't croak much at this time of the month unless it had just rained heavily. Plus, there were couples of frogs together. A chill crept up his spine. As he was about to turn back, he heard bursts of laughter ahead. Sometimes like children, other times like old people. Den realized then that something was terribly wrong. He ran as fast as he could, but the laughter grew louder the faster he ran. Almost reaching the edge of the village, he saw a figure standing by a bamboo bush. Strangely, the figure's arms were extremely long. Without thinking much, Den shouted, "Help me! There's a ghost in there." Perhaps he thought it was another villager out catching frogs. But he was dead wrong. As he rushed toward the figure, he was greeted by a horrifying sight. A face as green as jade, glowing red eyes, fangs protruding beyond its mouth, and talons like those of an eagle. Another burst of chilling laughter. Before Den could react, the being, or more accurately the ghost, grabbed his neck. A dry, sickening crack echoed through the night. The ghost twisted off Den's head and tossed it aside, then carried the headless body back into the deserted garden. Meanwhile, little Choot, after reaching home, tied up the frogs, washed up, and crawled into bed, drifting off to a peaceful sleep, completely unaware that his beloved brother had just been killed by a malevolent spirit. The next morning, Mr. and Mrs. Hay thought nothing of it, assuming their sons were still sleeping after a late-night frog hunt. They busied themselves preparing frog stew for their field work. But as they headed out toward the fields, they heard frantic screams from the edge of the village. Some nearby farmers rushed over, and sensing something wrong, the couple quickly followed. When they arrived, they were greeted by a horrifying sight, a human head lying face down in the grass, covered in blood. No one could immediately recognize the victim. Uncle Ba, then a young man from a family skilled in martial arts, stepped forward. Using a stick, he gently turned the head over. Only then did Mr. and Mrs. High recognize their son. At first, they couldn't believe their eyes. Their children were just sleeping that morning. Shock rooted them to the spot. Some nearby villagers, realizing it was Den, rushed over to catch Mr. and Mrs. High in case they collapsed. Mrs. High, upon realizing it was her son, let out a heart-wrenching cry, "Den!" then fainted immediately. Mr. High, though a grown man, fared no better. He collapsed where he stood, staring blankly like an empty shell. Because the story is quite long, I'll divide it into episodes to better serve everyone. See you again tomorrow.